Welcome to Flow Yoga and Cycle. My name is Peter, and I've got a video for you today on some back bends. So let's get started. Back bends are something we usually do at the end of, when we're doing big back bends, it's usually something we do at the end of class. When we do other sort of mini back bends in the middle of class, beginning of class, to wake up the spine, help warm things up, those are great, and those are fun to do, but they're also really just sort of preparation for the big back bends, the big heart and chest openers that we do at the end of class. And there's a couple things that we do for those that I'd like to focus on here. First of all, I'm going to grab a block. You don't need a block, but I do think that it helps to remember to engage the quads a little bit. So I'm going to go down here, and we take the block and we put it between our thighs. Probably not the widest, but either the middle or the smallest one. I'm going to do the smallest one here, and I'm going to put it between the thighs. I take the heels as close to the glutes as possible, and then I take the heels out just a little bit and the toes in a little bit, so I'm a little bit pigeon-toed. My toes are working towards one another as opposed to away from one another here. So I'm going to take the hands, press them down into the mat, feet down into the mat, and lift the hips. You'll notice that my block is still here. That's because my thighs are going together and they're spiraling down. So we work the shoulders back underneath. Maybe we grab the ankles and work the hips a little higher. That's an option. And then we release. We keep the same sensation in all of the other back bends, but I'm going to take this out for now. It's something that you can do to remind yourself to work those thighs towards one another, but it's not something that you're going to need every single time. So that was round one. Lift it up. Round two. I'm trying to take my chest towards the back of the room, knees towards the back of the room. Heels are pressing down. Some people lift their heels, and that's okay to start out with, but eventually we want to take those heels back down. And for this one, I'm going to take my hands and interlace the knuckles behind the back, try and walk those shoulders together, and that helps me press my back open, chest towards the back wall, thighs moving towards each other, and release. That's option 2. Next, we're going to go for option 3, still in a bridge pose here. So same idea, lifting the hips high, and I'm going to try and take my hands and get them underneath the hips and try and press the hips back towards my chest, back towards my chin. Chin is tucking to keep the back of my neck long. My thighs are really engaged here, squeezing the knees towards one another, but not necessarily touching. And always remembering to breathe and release. Nice big inhale, exhale here. And the goal is to get as much of the bend in our upper thoracic spine as opposed to our lower spine. We want to be opening the front, not constricting the back. So we've done 3 bridge poses. We usually stick with 3 big back bends in class, but you've got the option for more always. So now we're going to go into an upward facing bow. We take the hands back by the ears. You have to have good wrist flexibility to make this happen. So fingers are pointing towards the shoulders, squarely on the mat here. And we're working our elbows back as we lift up our hips. Inhale, lift it up. So as we do in lots of other poses, we're trying to take our shoulders away from our ears, and then we're trying to take our elbows towards one another, shoulder blades wide. We can start to walk the heels back towards the hands, lifting the hips higher, knees back, chin is looking back towards the back of the room. Eyes are not going down too much to crank the neck. And release. Inhale, exhale, and we'll do one final back bend here. Heel in nice and close to the glutes. Hands by the shoulders. We're inhaling, lifting up, trying to get the arms straighter, the legs straighter, more curve in the back. Maybe heels walk closer to hands. And now we're going to bend the elbows a little bit, try and bring the elbows closer to one another, like those chaturanga push-up arms, and then straighten, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Heels grounding, thighs towards one another, and release. So those are 5 back bends there. The last 2 were pretty similar. It's just a matter of depth. How deep are we in the back bends? When you're done with back bends, it's a lot for the spine. We need to do some sort of counter for it. So I've got 2 really good options here for you. The first and easiest is just a happy baby. Grab our big toes. Maybe you grab the pinky toes. Maybe you grab the heels. You're trying to work your hips and your knees both back into the ground. That's going to lengthen in the lower back. So we're pulling down, working the heels, knees towards the earth, and also our hips are moving back down towards the earth. Nice big stretch on the spine. Maybe you straighten one leg and the opposite leg, and then release. The other big one is any sort of twist. So you're taking your knees one direction and your gaze the opposite direction. We can either take one leg straight and one leg bent and walk it off to the side, or we can take the knee all the way over the opposite knee, maybe ankle tucks behind the opposite ankle, knees to the right, left, gaze to the right, and then I like to take whatever side the knees are on, take that elbow and try and work that shoulder blade a little bit wider to get a bigger twist. And maybe eventually you'll get your right cheek all the way to the mat when your knees are off to the left. Maybe not. And then we always switch it out. So this side I will do just a knee over without crossing. Maybe your hand comes to the bent knee, the cross knee. Help pressing it down a little bit. Gaze is off to the left. Working, breathing into that torso. Breathing into the back. Just opening everything up. Coming back to center when you're ready. And then maybe you go straight into Shavasana here. Maybe you do a shoulder stand and a plow. But this is a great ending pose after you really open up the chest, open up the heart, and now it's time to relax. That's it for Backbends. Please be sure to check out all of the other great videos on the website here. Lots of really good content, and hope to see you all again soon.